Got to be careful the first ball fastball because he'll jump right on it.
And the first pitch of the ball game is that's up high with the heater. Texas comes in at 15-13, half game in first place in the West. They're hitting .281 as a club with a 5.27 team ERA. And the count 2-0. And this is a club, as we talked about last time he was out against this team. You cannot pitch behind the Texas Rangers.
They got too many good hitters, even with Josh Hamilton out of the lineup.
Big rip right there. Well, if you wanted to be explicit and take it a step further, you can't pitch behind any major league team. Well, unless you have Koufax stuff.
Well, that's a different story. Or taking it back a long time ago, you remember Early Wynn, who pretty lived with a 2-0 count.
Gus. Hey. Gus. I hit against Gus. I played against Gus in his 300th victory at Kansas City.
Jerry Walker picking up the last 4 innings.
The last 4, and he
game.
was on a mission. Jerry was throwing rockets up there.
Well, Early wouldn't have another shot to get that 300th win, so he had to.
And the 2-2. It's full. Omar Vizquel on deck.
And this is no mistake by Kinsler as far as these numbers are concerned. Last year he hit .319. 18 and 71 on the power numbers, but he's got even better power than that.
Had 41 doubles too. He also picked up 26 stolen bases.
And he went to high school with Brian Anderson in Tucson, Arizona. A little chat before the game today. Brian said he's feeling a whole lot better and pretty anxious to get off that disabled list, as you would expect.
And once again, the payoff pitch. He's going to be running.
I would say that AJ had better loosen it up behind the plate, because this is one of the Rangers that doesn't wait around too long before he takes off.
They're 21 for 25 in stolen bases. As I mentioned, Kinsler 7 for 8. And here's the 41-year-old switch hitting future Hall of Fame shortstop Omar Vizquel.
And a really nice play, and Vizquel is capable of doing it. You send the runner and you bunt the ball to third base and you let Kinsler go from first to third.
Yeah, and Vizquel, one of the best bunters this game has seen in the last 50 years.
Well, he came up, when he came out of Seattle, he came up purely as a glove man. I remember when he was traded from Seattle to the Cleveland Indians for Felix Fermin, and Seattle thought they got the better of that deal. Didn't work out that way.
Well, Seattle's had 2 guys of that ilk. Came up as glove men. Never thought they would be the players that they turned out to be. Vizquel is one and Carlos Guillen the other. There's the strike.
We caught a break also because Carlos Guillen was on the disabled list when the Tigers came to town. He won't be the next time we see the Tigers, and he's a pretty good player.
Outfield around to the left. Bit of a gap out there in right center. Josh in on the grass at third. Off the line. There goes Kinsler. Got a shot. Go a little bit lower, and they had him.
Well, AJ got rid of the ball quickly, and actually Jose unloaded pretty quickly. But the throw was up, and Kinsler slid to the back of the bag. That's pretty much what you want to do here. See the tag again, just a bit tardy. The call by Brian Knight, and he got the call right. And AJ thought he had him. He thought he had a good shot at him.
You got to get the hitter, though. As we talked about. You know, he walks the leadoff man here. He goes 3-1 on Vizquel. And there's a base hit. That's going to score the run. So the leadoff walk, the stolen base, and it's 1-0 Rangers.
Well, Vizquel's been around long enough to know that when you have to see a fastball, you're probably going to get a good hack at it. This ball is actually up and away. And Vizquel had one thing in mind, and it wasn't necessarily a base hit. He was going to take that ball and hook it to the right side, and at the very least, move Kinsler to third base. Well, it turned into gold because he drove in a run, his 4th of the year.
Vizquel has yet to attempt a stolen base. This will probably be somewhere in this sequence his first attempt. Michael Young. Last time we saw him, Young was hitting below 300. He is now up to 336. 7 homers, 16 RBI. So since we left Texas, he's been doing some talking. Vizquel fakes, does not go, and Michael Young takes a strike to even the count at 1.
You're going to see it somewhere tonight. If Jose continues to drop down on right-handers, and that's what we've seen him do, he's got to keep the ball away. Now, Michael Young normally is a middle of the field hitter. But if Jose drops down and keeps it on the inner portion, he's going to take it into that corner.
He's going to take it in those seats. That is into right center field. Lillibridge is there, makes the catch. But Vizquel will go back. Nice play by Lillibridge. Had a long way to go.
Had a long run and got a very good jump. And as you can see, that time Jose stayed right over the top. Lillibridge saw that ball all the way. Vizquel got almost to second base. When he realized that Brent was going to make the play, he retreated.
They'll bring up Andruw Jones, hitting at 341. 3 homers. He's driven in 8.
Talked to Ron Washington, manager, about Jones, and he said he just lost all semblance of confidence with the Dodgers. And that he felt that Rudy Jaramillo has done a great job of rebuilding that confidence to allow him to be the kind of hitter that he once was. Now the question is, when Hamilton comes back, will he get enough playing time, get enough swings in to maintain what he has in the early going?
Well, he's not going to get any of Hamilton's time.
No. Well, that's the one guy that's going to play out there all the time.
There he goes. And that throw is high. So he steals his first base.
This ball high and tight. AJ just makes a bad throw.
Well, again, you walk the leadoff guy. You go 3-1 on Vizquel. He gets the base hit on the fastball. He's a veteran hitter. He knows that 19 out of 20 pitches from Contreras on 3-1 are going to be the fastball, with Young and Jones and those guys hitting behind him. So, I mean, that is where veteran players take advantage of a guy like Contreras when he does not have as good control. In essence, they just eat him alive.
Well, veteran players go up there with a plan. They pretty much know what the other guy's going to do because of the advanced scouting, and plus they take advantage of that advanced scouting.
Well, in his case, having seen him and then you know what's going on, you really don't even have to, because you see it, you say, here it comes.
Here it comes. And you saw that pitch hawk. It wasn't a strike. It was high and away. He was just trying to hit a ground ball to the right side, and he wound up taking it back up the middle.
Well, we discussed that the other day. When you get guys on this Texas Ranger club, or most of it major league clubs, they don't have to keyhole Contreras. They can get him. The only time you got to keyhole a guy is when he's throwing mid-90s and up. That same pitch with a guy throwing mid-90s and up, he's not going to get to. He's going to foul it back or swing and miss it.
Well, that allows you to get away with a few more mistakes. With every mile an hour of velocity, you get a couple of more mistakes in the zone.
Rich get richer. And another full count. So this will be the 21st pitch with 1 out here in the top of the first inning.
Now, when Jones had those big power years, he got real pull conscious. In fact, he started pulling off everything. And one of the things that Jaramillo has got him doing is staying on the ball a little bit longer and he's able to take advantage by driving some balls to the right side, something he didn't do very much with the Braves. Take a look at Rudy, who is considered one of the best there is as far as a hitting coach is concerned. They signed him to a long-term contract, and I think it was a 5-year deal, which is almost unprecedented when you're talking about coaches, but especially hitting coaches who do a lot of moving around.
So the second walk of the inning. And here's Marlon Byrd hitting at .330. A couple of homers. He's driven in 16. Should be. Back him up. And that'll retire the side. That had a chance to get ugly, but he gets the double play, and after a half inning of play, it's the Rangers one and the good guys coming to bat.
Tell me the DH. Then it's Dye, Canerco, AJ, Nixon, Lillibridge rounded out at 8 and 9. The Lowe's defense and how they'll line up behind Harrison. Murphy, Bird, and Cruz left to right with Young, Vizquel, Kinsler, and Davis. Young, Taylor, Teagarden behind the plate, and Matt Harrison on the heel for his 6th start.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As Chris takes inside ball 1, gets hitting at .294, no homers, he's driven in 6. Sox come in at 13 and 14, hitting at .260 as a club with a 4.54 ERA. There's a strike.
I like this guy in the leadoff spot, Hawk, because he gives you a pretty solid at bat each and every at bat, even against the left-handers.
Powerfully hit. Well, he's just a good solid player. He's going to be a good solid player, barring injury, for a number of years. You know what you've got. That's so much value, especially in today's marketplace. There's so much value in knowing what you're getting with a player. With the contract situations the way they are, a lot of times you sign a guy for a 3 or 4 year deal. The first year might be just forget it. Well, you know. Yes. And there's track records to prove it.
A lot of time on the DL and a lot of struggles, but boy, in the last year of that contract, they come alive.
Wow. There's base hit. Nice piece of hitting right there by number 7, Josh Fields. So he's the first one out. Right now, let's check out our picks to click. Jim Angio, our Hall of Fame director of the crew, went with Jermaine Dye. Lisa, Steve, Tex tonight. They're going to go with Jason Nix and the Burns boys from Limestone Little League, Austin, Trevor, and Camden. We're going to go with Carlos Quint.
You seem to be pulling away in this.
It's early.
You got to come out early and start working on this picks to click stuff.
1-0 the count. Harrison will get it and throw it. He's 23 years old. He's a big guy, 6'4", 225 pounds, out of Creedmoor, North Carolina.
And down in Texas, we had him on the ropes, and he was somehow able to wiggle off that hook that they set for him through 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, didn't give up any runs, and left with the score 4-0.
There's another $63 bill. I got to talk with Vinny Fresso about that. Vinny, if you're down in the clubhouse, do me a favor and have somebody bring me up the price list for these bats again. They go up each and every year, Vinny says. Drives him crazy.
Well, when you hit it off the end of the bat, especially when you have that cupped top
and maple,
yeah, it's gonna splinter like that.
You might occasionally get away if it's an ash bat, but not maple, never. Here's a 1-2. That's up high.
Well, Harrison doesn't fit the mold of the soft tossing left-hander because that fastball is 91, 92 miles an hour. But he doesn't have overwhelming stuff, as his hit per inning pitched would show you.
No, he's given up almost an average of 2 base runners per inning. And a full count. You take the.
Well, now you really have to watch, if you're Josh Fields, the good pickoff move at first base.
Well, to get picked off on a 3-2 count is a cardinal sin.
Well, normally this is when the pitchers break out their best move.
There you go. There's a strike him out, and they're going to get the picker. And there's the double play. That'll do it. Nothing across. There was a base hit by Josh, and after 1, it is 1-0 Rangers.
Fan deck or individual game diamond suites are available. Book an outing or a party area today. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com.
1-0 Rangers. It'll be Cruz, Murphy, and Davis to face Jose Contreras, who really could have had an ugly first inning.
Nelson Cruz has been a terrific hitter this year, and he is mighty strong.
Comes in at 295. 7 homers. He's driven in 20.
Spring training, Ron Washington said, "You are my right fielder, so just relax and let's see what you can do." Not going to do much on that pitch. last year in 31 games, so it's limited action. But he hit .330, so he is the real deal.
That's low and away. Contreras had a tough outing against the Rangers last Saturday. 3 1/3, 7 runs earned on 7 hits. And usually when you see a guy this quickly after an outing like that, there's still a lot of confidence in those Ranger bats.
And also for Contreras, it means he's got to adjust, and he's throwing more over the top to right-hand hitters at this point. Tried to wipe him out with the splitter and couldn't get it near the zone.
Two pitch. Cruz was the Pacific Coast League MVP last year in Oklahoma. Hit .342 with 37 homers. He gone.
Let's take a look at the double play that ended the first inning, because you're going to see a tremendous pivot at second base. This is a hard hit ball to the right side, and Nix has to get rid of it quickly. Jason comes across and just throws it right in the middle of Jones's forehead. We just make sure that he gets down and away from him. That's a good turn.
Well, if he doesn't get down on that one, he turns into an instant unicorn.
That's what you have to do to protect yourself. You come across the bag and that guy is up, you convince him that, yeah, he best get down.
Especially if you've taken him out in the past. I did that with Davey Johnson. One game I knocked him into to left field. And the very next at bat, I get on first base and there was a ground ball hit to Aparicio. I was down probably 25 to 30 feet short of second base, lying flat on my back, and that ball went right over my nose.
Because you could see him measuring you up.
No question about it. And I knew it was coming.
For a size 5 1/4 baseball.
Here's the 2-1. Murphy takes a strike. David, 3 for 6 lifetime off Contreras.
Murphy's really struggling right now, has yet to find that stroke. Last year he hit a respectable .275.
15 homers and 74 ribbies. High throw. And he doesn't get down in time, so that'll be an error.
I think Paul thought he did get down in time. It's going to go E5. And Josh had some time, but he got under the throw instead of staying completely on top of it. We'll watch. Ball's up, and he's down ahead of the base runner. That's a bad call by Lance Barksdale. See it right there, just an eyelash before Murphy gets there.
So here's a good-looking young first baseman, 23 years old, Chris Davis. Power numbers 7 and 14. So there's a broken bat, and that's going to fall for a base hit.
Well, Paul went back to the bag a second time. Looked to me like he had the bag, but when you go back at it a second time, that usually convinces the umpire that you don't believe you had it.
Catcher, Taylor Teagarden, 5 for 29 on the season.
Right now, the big problem with Teagarden, in talking with Ron Washington, is that he's just swinging at everything, especially breaking balls. Last year he hit some fastballs, This year he's seeing a lot of breaking balls and really struggling.
Teagarden last year was there as a base hit. So they're going to hold the runner at third as Quentin quickly gets to it. So the era has opened up the possibility of a huge inning right here for the Rangers. Sachs packed one down. Teagarden hit .319, 6 homers, and drove in 17 in very limited service.
Well, he did it by seeing a lot of fastballs because nobody had a book on him quite yet, and he just saw another fastball and took it through the left side.
So here's Kinsley. He walked, stole a base, and scored last inning. AJ just gives it a little double clutch right there. Wanted that one evidently. There's a strike. And the count evens at 1. This next pitch will be number 40 here in an inning and a third. Not even close.
AJ did a nice job of moving to his right, making sure that one didn't go to the screen. So far, a whole lot of pitches with only one out here in the second.
And what's the worst part about it is he's basically right now just a one-pitch pitcher. He has yet to get a fork ball over.
Yeah, he can't get that over the plate, and that's a big problem.
So when you're a one-pitch pitcher against a red-hot offensive team like the Rangers are, hitting at .281, coming in with 50 homers, we have 30. That usually doesn't work out too well. Here's the 2-2. Another full count.
He's tried that sidearm sweeping breaking ball a couple of times and has yet to hit with it.
That's softly hit. Look at the play by Nix. My goodness gracious, they can't turn it. But the blown call at first comes across to score, and it's 2-0.
Just a tremendous play by Jason Nix, showing you all kinds of range. Bear in mind, folks, that this guy's a second baseman, but he's put on a show the last couple of nights at shortstop, and no chance for gets on the return. So it goes his run batted in number 26. But keeping the ball out of the outfield saves at least one run for the moment.
So the unearned run, give that one to the umpire. Vizquel had an RBI single last inning. Still has yet to get a fork ball over.
To this point, yet to get anything over but that fastball.
One of the real strengths of being a good hitting coach is not teaching so much the mechanics of the swing. It's during the course of the ball game that when Rudy Jaramillo will sit over there, in this case the Rangers hitting coach, and after one inning he's going to tell his guys, he's a one-pitch pitcher, boys. Don't swing at anything but a fastball and make it beat your pitch. As finally got something that he swung at. I don't believe it was a strike,
but it's the first one that's close enough to convince Vizquel that maybe it's a fastball and maybe I should swing.
That ball gets away. And it's 3-0. So the second unearned run comes across.
This one bounces well in front of the plate, and AJ, you see him try to bring the right arm in. He was willing to take that one off the bicep to keep it in front of him, but that ball just got by, so Davis, who singled, scores.
Wow. Two and one to count with 2 out, 2 on. No, check that, 1 on, 2 in. Here in the top of the second, 3-0 Rangers.
Ozzie and Don Cooper not real happy with what they've seen so far. And at the 45 pitch mark, and we're not through the second, this is going to be one of those pen nights, and they're hoping to stay out of it early.
Well, getting back to Jaramillo, it's easy for him to study the pitcher as that's popped up. Stay in here. Josh just drifting, now makes the catch, but the error and the blown call really at first base has cost us 2 runs, and we trail it 3-0. Game live, Blackhawks Canucks, Game 5 tomorrow at 9 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. 3-0 Rangers as they put the shift on for Jim Thome leading off. Thome takes ball 1. Jimmy hitting at 205, 4 homers. He's driven in 14. And Vinny Fresso, wonderful clubhouse guy, sends up the professional bat pricing effective upon receipt of this notice. The pricing will be as follows. This from Louisville Slugger. Major League Maple bats now, last year $63, in 09 $95.
That's tremendous inflation.
It's just not bats.
It's not bats, no. But you go up 33% in a year, that's a big number.
$95 for maple bats.
Especially when you consider how easy they are to shatter.
Ash bats are $52 as Thome strikes out.
His fastball low and away. Jim swings over the top of it. And Harrison, who originally came up with Atlanta, he came over in that big Mark Teixeira deal.
Jermaine takes outside the fastball at 93. And bats for retired players. It's bats that they would want probably for promotional purposes. $68. Minor league Cubats, 2650. As there's a base hit by Young, so the 1-out single.
This one right by Michael Young, who made the shift from Gold Glove shortstop to third baseman to really facilitate the growth of Elvis Andrus. Andrus not in the lineup. Vizquel is tonight, but their future is Andrus, who also came over in that deal, which turned out to be a tremendous trade for the Rangers. Teixeira now a very expensive Yankee, but the deal very much heavily favoring the Texas team.
That's foul by Konerko. Pauly hitting at .310, 3 homers. He's knocked in 20.
So look at last night's hero. Art Burley was absolutely brilliant, carried that perfect game through 1 out in the 7th. Well, there should be an edict that he pitches every getaway day, because he is quick.
That's into center field. Can of corn. Marlon Byrd, 2 down. That'll bring up AJ. AJ up to 313. 4 homers. He's driven in 9.
Right now, he's swinging the bat just about as well as any of the Sox players. And one of the reasons why he's had such a good run at it, he doesn't pull off the plate against left-hand pitchers. He still has the open stance, but he doesn't give any ground to the lefties.
AJ has always been tough against left-handers. Always.
Well, if you can keep that right shoulder in, Hawk, at least you get plate coverage. And
well, that's not the only thing. It's just a state of mind. Some guys cannot do it. Other guys can. AJ has been one of those guys who came up at an early age, from the time he was a sophomore in high school, even against tough left-handers who were seniors. And you know, there was a huge difference when you're a left-handed hitter and you're a sophomore and you're facing, down in Florida especially, a good left-handed pitcher, and he just learned how to stay in there and has carried all the way through his career.
Well, most left-handers come up through the minor leagues and they face the left-hand pitchers. Then they get to the major leagues and they start platooning them, and then they'll never hit the lefties.
There he got it in on him, jammed him, and a little soft ground ball. And that'll do it. Had a base hit by a dime. Meanwhile, it is still 3-0 Texas.
Sox game or visit whitesox.com.
They have 3, we have none here in the top of the third. Michael Young looking for that fastball up out over the plate, got it and fouled it back. He is 0 for 1. Went out, hit the ball well into right center field, and Lilliquist had a long way to go, and he got there. That fork ball up high. Hit him on the fist, pops him up. Chris Getz.
Got to stay with it tonight because the wind is blowing the ball toward the seats in right field. Contreras has retired Young twice. Not an easy feat. Getz stays right with it. Young came in hitting an even 300 lifetime in the major leagues.
And yet, if you look at the flags, most of the flags are blowing out towards left. So it goes that swirling action here at US Cellular Field.
Tough to read.
Andruw Jones takes it inside. He walked. And the count 1-1.
Took a little something off that last one. And Jose would love a very quick inning here to keep those pitches to a minimum.
He's on top of ball and 2 strikes with Marlon Byrd on deck. First of a 3-game set. Tomorrow night, make your plans to be with us here at US Cellular Field. Johnny Danks against Kevin Millwood. Now, if you can't, that game will be over WGN. That's a 6:05 start. Then on Sunday, in the finale of this 3-game series and this brief 5-game homestand, Bartolo Colon against Vicente Padilla. And that game right back here on Comcast Sportsnet. Then it's off to Cleveland for 3. In Toronto, 5 days, 4 games.
A wraparound series.
That's into right field. That's countable. 2 down. Marlon Byrd hit into a 4-6-3 double play. To end the first inning, and it was ugly. Last inning was also ugly.
Well, this inning's starting to shape up a little bit better. And Byrd, who got off to a terrible start last year, only to really turn it on. Having a big year this year.
Two and 1 to count. Outfield slightly to the right. Fields backing off the line at third. Gap out there in left center. And that's chopped foul to even the count at 2.
It looks like he's thrown that splitter from a different angle and having a little more success with it now. At least it appears he's starting to get a feel for it. Plus, he's been close to the zone with it.
Full count.
Take a look at Jose as he drops down.
The 60th pitch.
Very dangerous Nelson Cruz in the on-deck circle. Of course, we're hoping he leads it off next inning.
And once again, the 3-2. He won't lead it off next inning. He's going to have a chance to knock in a run. That ball just splits him. Bird will pull up at second. That's his 12th two-bagger.
Take a look at the location, and you'll understand why it was hit so hard. He drops down, but you see he leaves it over the inner third of the plate. If you're going to drop down on the right-handers, they're not going to give any ground on it. Not when they've seen you drop down a lot. If you leave it over the inner third, it's probably going to get tattooed.
So here's Cruz. He struck out to lead off last inning. Oh and 1. Sweeping slider.
That was a good one. Keeping the ball away from Cruz is a pretty good idea, especially with the slider.
Ditto. And the count 0-2.
You know what? You don't need a setup pitch. You just throw another one of those. Don't set him up. Don't try to outthink him. Because one more of those in the same spot. And
bench.
Jason Nix will be leading it off.
He gone. Second strikeout, both Cruz. We're going to the bottom of the third, trailing by 3. When you write the Cubs, it starts off with a W. So join Chris and Sarah for Sports Night, presented by Dex, tonight after Sox Post Game Live, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Mercy.
That was written by Rain Man.
There's first pitch strike to Jason Nix, 4 for 10 with a homer. That coming last night, his first major league homer. The 1-1. That's out of play right side.
Harrison tries to change speeds with his fastball. Doesn't really have a wide repertoire, and yet certainly been effective against us.
That's high. Everything is self-induced.
Well, Teagarden wanted that fastball face high, got it up a little bit higher than that at 1-2. So he evens the count.
Good check. Full count.
That was a tough pitch to lay off. That was a straight change. Looked like a fastball until it just died out of the zone.
All 4 base hit right here. Start us off, Jason. That's off the end of the bat into left field. Murphy is right there. There's a line shot by Lilliebridge right at Nelson Cruz so quickly. 2 gone.
The only thing you have to hope for on something like that is it doesn't get up over or under the lights, because you're hitting it right at the right fielder. He just stayed right with it. And Brent just hits too many balls in the air. I'd like to have him hit the ball on the ground to take advantage of some great speed.
There's a strike to Chris Getz, who grounded out to his counterpart, Ian Kinsler. Broken bat. Another $95 bill shot. And that'll do it. He's retired 5 in a row. And Harrison leads it 3-0.
Who's the only player to hit 20 home runs in a season for both the Rangers and the White Sox?
David Murphy will lead it off. Lower third of the Ranger order. Murphy, Davis, and Teagarden to face Jose Contreras, who has thrown 64 pitches in the first 3 innings. There's a fork ball way high. Down and in. And the count evens at 1.
Normally you find when you are struggling, you're swinging at pitches like that. You get ahead 1-0 and then swinging a pitch way out of the zone.
Out in front.
You know, you talk about hitters being in between. What does in between mean, and how do you fix it?
But it's the toughest thing to fix because that's where most hitters live all season long, in between. That's the reason you have guys hitting 200, 220, 240, 260, 280 rather, than higher. That's when you're in front of the breaking ball, you're behind the fastball, you can't cover the fastball, and you swing at bad pitches and you take the strikes.
That's not conducive to good hitting.
Oh boy, look at that. He just pokes it out there. Carlos sets, pegs. Murphy in with a leadoff double.
Well, Murphy could see that even though Carlos got to the ball, he was going to run away from the throw. And so you don't really need a first base coach here. You've got the play in front of you. And as this ball just slices away from Carlos, Murphy, being a left fielder, knows it's going to take 2 or 3 steps before he can right himself, and he's thinking 2 right here. Pretty much coasts into second base without a great deal of difficulty.
So here's Davis. He had a broken bat single and scored back in the second. But being in between is just a terrible place to be. I know there have been many times you've gone out on that mound and you had no idea. You had mental chaos. You had no idea what was going to be going on. Other times you go out there, you had that sense of control. Everything is peaceful, so to speak, mentally. And that's the toughest thing for hitting coaches to get hitters out of. You got, and really, if you have a hitter who will make a commitment, and Greg Walker tries to get our guys to do this, make a commitment on whoever's pitching. Harrison tonight. Sit on it. Don't try to beat him on his breaking ball. Sit on the fastball. Don't worry about his breaking stuff. He's not going to get 3 over to you. Just beat him on his fastball. At least that is a positive thought, and it gives the guys that ball gets away. Contreras, the toughest guy, in my opinion, in this league to catch.
Well, one of the reasons why he's so tough to catch is when he misses, he doesn't miss by just 3-4 inches. He misses by a good 2 feet. And AJ does his best to move to his right. He shifts his weight. He does everything he can. He knows he's going to take it off one part of his anatomy, especially when you're a big man and you have to stand up. And he couldn't stop Murphy.
Strikes him out. So 1 down. And that'll bring up Taylor Teagarden, who singled into left field. But what we're talking about is the easy part, the talking. It's just tough for hitting coaches. That's why a hitting coach to me is the toughest uniform job in baseball, because you're dealing with 13 to 14 players as that hits them. Jose all over the place again.
Well, we were talking about when Jose misses, he misses by plenty. AJ wants it inside, but doesn't want it off Teagarden's posterior.
No, here's Kinsler.
Well, if he hits a ground ball, you better get rid of it real quickly to try to turn 2. Don Cooper calling the bullpen. He wants somebody up before this one gets too far out of hand.
There's a bunt. Josh with a good play. And Murphy scores, and it's 4-0.
It's really a tremendous play as far as Ian Kinsler is concerned. He gets the sacrifice. He gets the run batted in. He moves Teagarden into scoring position. And he puts another run up there to make it 4-0. So a good play by Josh Fields, but a heads-up play by Ian Kinsler.
That's a Robin Ventura play right there. Robin used to do that. You get that run that you're supposed to score, because it's for the most part a gift run. And it puts just a different attitude on your Ranger ball club.
Well, in this case, it's a bunt, but it's still situational hitting. It's still doing the little things that get you the run and then move up another guy in a scoring position.
Well, he's got a man on third and less than 2 out. What's he supposed to do? Get him in.
Bring him in.
Bring him in any way you can.
DJ Carrasco loosening up in the pen.
So the fourth Texas run, only 2 were earned. Those 2 back in the second inning were unearned. We've still got plenty of time. I mean, it's not like we can't get any runs. This Ranger team comes in with a 5.27 team ERA.
Well, we've yet to score a run off Harrison this year.
And the count 3-1. Get foul. That's fair. Down into the corner. And it's 5-0.
And it's 2 3-1 fastballs that turns an elder statesman in Omar Vizquel into a very dangerous left-hand hitter. The second 3-1 fastball. He saw this one right down the middle. And this is a double, unlike the solid single that he had in the first inning. And AJ goes out to have a word with Contreras, who's just scuffling with anything resembling location, and here comes Ozzie.
Well, he's just all over the place. You're not going to do anything in the major leagues, you know, and it's really sad because he's made such great strides physically in coming back from that popped Achilles last year. So for a man who won 17 consecutive games just a few years ago, he departs, and we'll be back.
Along with BCA Animal Hospitals. Now, as you probably know, the dog tickets are sold out, but for regular game tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com. And DJ Carrasco comes into this one. And Omar Vizquel at second base, already trailing by 5. He's on for the 11th time. ERA a respectable 3. And he needs 1 out to get out of what's turned into a very tough 4th inning.
And He's got a tough out with Michael Young standing up there at that plate. Michael is 0 for 2. He's gone out to right center. Nice catch by Brent Lillibridge. And he's fouled out to Chris Getz. And the count 2-0.
There's the line so far, and of course he's responsible for Vizquel. It was not a good outing. Factor in a couple of wild pitches into those numbers. Five times Michael Young has had 200 hits or more. That's pretty impressive.
Well, there's only been one guy to have more hits than he's had since 2003.
That is
Ichiro.
Well, I can understand that. He's had more hits than maybe anybody in the world since 2003.
Vizquel at second, 2 out. Vizquel might be one of the few guys in this league that if you're the pitcher and the catcher and he's at second base, you might have some concern over. As that is chopped foul.
Well, what AJ did on the last pitch, he saw Vizquel looking behind him to see where the infielders were, so he put down one sign, which was 2. Now, DJ probably thinking for a set of signs with a man at second base, didn't realize that Vizquel wasn't looking. That's why AJ put down just one sign. So he went back, gave him a new set. Now they're a little bit confused, and he goes out there to straighten them out.
As I said, you might be concerned if Vizquel's out there at second.
But he was looking, as you'd expect one of the all-time great shortstops to be looking to find out where the shortstop is.
Because you get another guy at the plate who would understand. Nice pick right there. A little bit fortunate, but wow.
AJ probably figuring that he thought this was over when Jose left. But that turned out to be a tremendous play because you don't catch the ball like that moving to your right too often. He was fortunate to have it stick in the glove.
Outfield slightly to the right. He gets him. And 2 more across the plate, and we'll go to the bottom of the 4th, trailing 5-0.
The Rangers and the White Sox. And our answer, Richie Zitz. Part of the team I played with, the Southside Hitmen, in 1977, and then on to the Rangers in 1978. Year that he hit 30, Oscar Gamble hit 31, Eric Soderholm at 25.
Josh Fields first pitch hunting comebacker. One pitch, one out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. We got some work to do. We still got plenty of time to do it in. That'll bring up Carlos Quentin. Carlos, a strikeout victim. That was a fun club to watch. Southside hitting it.
That was a tremendous year for about 4.5 months. Then all of a sudden, the defensive deficiencies finally caught up with the Bombers on that team, and Kansas City made a great stretch run, and that was it. But I think Bill Veeck's philosophy was, if you're going to play on short money, err on the side of offense. It's a little more exciting.
Well, the Red Sox had that philosophy for years.
You don't win usually with that, but it is exciting.
The Red Sox have had actually two philosophies over the last 40, 50 years. As that's popped up, Marlon Byrd 2 down. The first philosophy was get yourself some guys who can hit home runs at Fenway Park. That was number one. The next is when the Yankees make a move, you make a move.
Corresponding.
That's right.
However, they didn't match him in the $423 million range this year. And I think they're very concerned about David Ortiz and his outage in the power department.
Well, a guy that's come alive for them is Tommy. Takes it inside and the count 2-0. Then Jason Bay. I mean, this guy has really entrenched himself now and taken up a ton of that. Another $95 bill gone away, and that's a 1-2-3, and he's retired 8 in a row.
MLB.TV. It's the ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 out-of-market games per week live on your computer. For more details, visit WhiteSox.com, where baseball is always on.
Andruw Jones takes a breaking ball off the plate. Jones has walked and he has gone out to right. 5-6-0 for them. 0-2 and a big one for us. When I say big one, actually, there was a play that was missed at first base. It led to 2 unearned runs for the Rangers in the second inning.
At this point, we've done very little this year with Matt Harrison.
Outfield straight up and the 2-1 delivery. He didn't get underneath that one.
No, then when he put something on, and that's the way you like to see somebody throw the ball across the diamond. Because when you get it, fire it across with confidence. Because it's those lollipop throws that you have trouble with.
So here's Marlon Byrd. He's 1 for 2, had a double in the 3rd inning. Fakes first pitch strike. Nelson Cruz on deck. Rangers 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, and 2 in the 4th. Good breaking ball strike. And the count 0-2. That's out of play right side. Cubs leading Milwaukee 1-0 bottom of the 5th up at Miller Park. Drop down. Ooh, he gets that anywhere close. It's going to be grab some bench time.
That one had a big break on it, but it missed by plenty, and now he's going to go away again, but this time with a fastball.
He gone.
Bird, who's hit the ball hard tonight, just expands his zone and misses that one by a foot.
So here's Cruz. Oh for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Takes ball 1. Detroit shuts out Cleveland 1-0. Justin Verlander over Cliff Lee.
Cliff Lee started out throwing the ball very poorly this year, but the last 3 starts he's been throwing the ball exceptionally well, and Cleveland has given him virtually no support.
1-1 pitch. Good curveball strike.
Also, the fact that he pitched tonight guarantees that we will see him in the Cleveland series.
Drop down. Fastball. Bullseye. Right on the outside corner. Halfway home. We need 5 to tie. Omar Vizquel as Jermaine Dye takes ball one. Jermaine 1 for 1, a single. One of only our 2 hits. The other by Josh Fields. That was in the first inning, and the single by Dye in the second. 5-0 Rangers.
Elvis has a world of talent, and he is the future for these Rangers. First heard about him with the Atlanta Braves. He was very young, still inexperienced, but getting better.
Two and two the count. Got him on the inside corner. And Vizquel has moved from short to third.
That fastball was on the corner. Jermaine thought it was inside. He looks back at Mike Winters. And Harrison is, for the most part, doing it with primarily a fastball. He's throwing just the occasional straight change and hasn't really broken out any kind of breaking ball yet. And I think, Hawk, we're seeing the handiwork of Mike Maddox, who is a terrific pitching coach, probably the biggest addition to this Texas team in the offseason, plying him away from the Milwaukee Brewers. And there's a look at Maddox. You all know his brother might be at one point wanting to get back into baseball, but not yet. But Mike is a very good pitching coach.
The 2-0 pops him up right side. Kinsler. So here's AJ, grounded out to second base. Minnesota shutting out Seattle 5-0. That game in the top of the 5th in Minneapolis. And very quickly the count 0-2. As I mentioned, Harrison will get it and will throw it.
And he also pounds the strike zone. He's been behind very few of the Sox hitters. Again, the handiwork of both Ron Washington and Mike Maddox. He told these guys, look, whatever kind of stuff you have, throw strikes. If you get hit, you get hit.
And this shank foul. AJ came in hitting it. 313. He's been hot. And another broken bat. Other $95 bills going down the tubes tonight. And we're into the 6th. It is 5-0 Texas.
It's food and drinks for $16 per person with the Grand Slam family package. It's available now for select games. To order, visit whitesox.com.
David Murphy, Chris Davis, and Taylor Teagarden here in the top of the 6th inning to face DJ Carrasco as Texas leads at 5-0. Backdoor curveball, good one. Other action around the American League. Yankees and Alex Rodriguez taking on the Orioles in Baltimore. And Sabathia against Guthrie. We mentioned Verlander shuts out Cleveland 1-0. And Cliff Lee. Lee now 1-5. That's a base hit. Right in the hole. So Murphy now 2 for 3.
When they wiped that 22-3 off the board and you come back the next year, Lee got off to a very slow start, but then started throwing the ball equally as well as he threw it last year. Only much different results.
Well, Cleveland now 11-19.
And they've lost Travis Hafner, a guy who they were counting on in the middle of that order. He's on the disabled list.
Chris Lee had a broken bat single, takes strike 1. He also has struck out. Tampa Bay taking on the Red Sox at Fenway. Shields against Penny.
I think the Yankees very happy not to see Tampa Bay anymore.
Yankees on a 5-game losing streak.
Tampa Bay was a good part of that because they hit 6 home runs in one game. That new Yankee ballpark has proven to be every bit as much of a launching pad as Philadelphia or some of the other lively parks around baseball.
The Yankees come into the day on their 5-game losing streak. They're 13-15. 5.5 back of Toronto. As the back door in, ball in the dirt, and they don't get it.
Well, this is a very aggressive Texas team, and as soon as that ball was in the dirt, and it goes as a wild pitch, Murphy takes off. You can't get there without getting a good secondary lead and having your weight going forward. AJ did a nice job of pouncing on it, made a pretty solid throw, but just barely missed him with Brian Knight on the call.
Good effort by AJ.
It was a very good effort, and he just missed him.
As Chris Davis for the 2nd time strikes out. 1 down.
That's one of the problems with this youngster, is that he's got a huge swing and he's not very selective, and that adds up to many strikeouts.
So here's Teagarden. He has singled and he was hit by a pitch. Fouls that one down.
Pretty tough for a youngster to be the backup catcher, but he finds himself the backup catcher behind Saltalamacchia. Jared is starting to hit the ball a whole lot better, and Teagarden has become Harrison's personal catcher. So that's the toughest part for a youngster that doesn't have a whole lot to build on at this point, but that's how they're easing Teagarden into their lineup, and so far results good defensively, just hasn't hit the ball all that well.
That curveball hangs inside. Later on, Kansas City taking on the Angels in Anaheim. Mesh against Palmer. Kansas City on a 6-game winning streak.
Angels starting to play better baseball, and of course we are hoping the Angels start to heat it up against KC.
Angels beat Toronto last night. Weaver against Ray. I listened to a lot of that ball game going home. Weaver was just, I mean, he was right on target.
That's the first complete game of his career.
Josh Fields. So Teagarden comes up with his second hit. Here's the throw to second, not in time, and it's 6-0.
Third RBI of the year for Teagarden. Been on base all 3 times. AJ wants it away, and this ball just hangs right over the inner portion of the plate. Drives it by a diving Josh Fields. And the wild pitch comes back to haunt the Sox again.
Here's Kinsler. Yeah, Weaver last night at one point retired, I believe, 19 out of 20.
Well, as good as he's looked against us at times, and as good as I've seen him look, it's just hard for me to believe that for all the games he's pitched, that's just his first complete game.
That's into left field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. So Kinsler now 1 for 2 with a couple of RBIs.
Michael Young left the ball game with some lower back problems. It stiffened up on him, and so it necessitated Vizquel to move to third and Elvis Andrews to take over at shortstop.
Vizquel is 2 for 3 with 2 ribbies, an RBI single on a 3-1 fastball, an RBI double in the fourth on a 3-1 fastball. Kinsler gets a decent lead over there at first base as that pitch up high, and the count 1-1. Well,
you can tell why this team came in third in the league offensively, and it's not just their home park, which is a hitter's haven.
Going inside, 2 balls and a strike with Elvis Andrus on deck.
Look at Ron Washington, who has seen his team steadily start to develop. He's got a lot of young players on his team and a few valuable veterans in good positions.
High into right field. There is Chris Getz. Two down. Had a chance to talk with the president, the new president, Nolan Ryan, when we were down in Texas. Nolan knows what he wants to do with this organization, and that's pretty good when you know what you want to do with your ball club. And of course, as you can imagine, and again, I'm not saying it's from the old school, I'm saying it's from the hard school. And there's a huge difference. Nolan, of course, pitched for 27 years. And for the most part, he's the no excuse, no nonsense guy. He does not want any excuses from anybody, whether it be pitchers. You don't want the 5 and fly guys.
Well, for years he's had an organization, and of course it hasn't been his, but this organization has always been built on hitting. And when Tom Hicks took over, he assembled just about every hitter he could find, including A-Rod, and 3 straight years they finished last. So nobody knows more than Nolan that you're going to have to develop a pitching staff in their ballpark that's going to give up some runs, but you're going to score a few more. But like most pitchers, he's not going to tolerate guys that nibble at the strike zone and fall behind and walk people.
2-2. No, sir. That is not on his agenda.
Well, you can't do it in that ballpark, and that's one of the reasons why we see Harrison, who doesn't have great stuff, but has good enough stuff because he's always ahead of the hitters. And there's the youngster who's done such a good job.
Softly hit. Gets, goes him out, and that'll do it. They do pick up 1, and after 5.5, it is now 6-0 Bad Guys. programming on demand, Comcast has a bundle for you. Call 1-888-4BEST-TV. You love those brats and hot dogs.
You're right about that, and I'd have to get probably a gross of Nexium tablets for that.
Jason Nix hit a semi-line drive to left field. His only at bat. We trail it 6-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. This young man is a good-looking player. First major league homer last night.
Let's see if he can square him up. He's ahead 2-0. One of the few times Harrison's been behind 2-0. Maybe trying to keep the ball away, you'd figure.
You got a 6-0 lead. Now, why would you want to try to keep it away? Just throw a strike. 2-0. Now he's 3-0.
Maybe he'll be 4-0.
There it is. The leadoff walk with a 6-run lead in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Well, that's the way you start climbing back into this. As you can't think about a 6-run lead, you have to think about picking up a run. Then, quite obviously, you look at that second one, but you start thinking about scoring 7 runs, it becomes a monumental hill to climb. First thing you got to do is start to peck away at Harrison.
And here's Brent Lillibridge. Takes ball 1.
The Tea Garden going out there now is at 5 straight bad ones. Omar Vizquel comes in, and Omar, who's been around seemingly forever, and now Ron Washington coming out with the trainer, could very well be there's something wrong with Harrison. The whole infield now is in on the mound listening to this conversation. And Washington is assured that Harrison is okay.
So here we go. Don't help him out. There's a strike. Outfield around to the right. Bit of a gap out there in left center. Yeah, that's fouled out of play. And the count 1-2. Vizquel way off the line, and even with the bag now he'll back up a little bit.
Well, that's pretty much telling Lillibridge that he's going to go away. Because all he has to do is look at Marlon Byrd and realize that he's over into right center field.
They're setting up inside. And Lillibridge is gone. 1 out.
Well, Vizquel well off the line. He throws a fastball, catches the entire inner portion of the plate, and he gets him.
So the 4th strikeout for Harrison. And here's Chris Getz. Twice he has grounded out to Ian Kinsler. Takes strike 1. Lays off that one.
I don't know if Harrison's going to go deep into this game, but I do know he only has 66 pitches, and we're in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Touch out. Top of the 7th in Milwaukee, 2-1 Cubs. Bottom of the 8th in Boston, 6-3 Red Sox over Tampa Bay. And there's a base hit. Flips it out there in the right field. So 1 out, 2 on. It's the first time we have had 2 men on in the same inning.
And just a third base hit. This fastball on the inner portion. Chris doesn't get a lot of it, just enough.
I'll bring up Josh Fields, who has one of our 3 hits. Coming back in the first inning between first and second.
Beautiful full moon tonight. A lot better looking with a few runs here.
Bird now moves over towards his left fielder, David Murphy. Pulled a string on him, had him out in front. Harrison. I mentioned 6'4", 225 pounds, out of Creedmoor, North Carolina. Runs that fastball by him, that one at 93. And that's up high. Wouldn't bite. First of a 3-game weekend set. And first, or I should say third of a brief 5-game homestand. A shot down to Vizquel. Sucks it up, makes it look easy, and they'll turn it. Boy, you don't think Vizquel can put some leather on you? Mercy.
Anywhere.
We're into the 7th.
Enjoy the game from the warning track area. Call 312-674-1000 to book your warning track party today, or visit whitesox.com for more details.
Top of the 7th inning, we got a lot of trouble on our hands right here. They lead at 6-0. 1 in the first, 2 unearned runs in the second, 2 in the fourth, and 1 in the sixth. And here is Andra Jones to face DJ Carrasco. Rips that one into left field. So 1 pitch to base hit, leadoff man aboard. Yankees shut out Baltimore 4-0. A-Rod with a 3-run homer on the first pitch he saw. Sabathia the winner.
Pretty amazing, and Sabathia has thrown the ball well at times. I think that makes him 2-3. I expect that he will have a pretty good year before it's over, as the big boy can pitch.
He's one of the best. Here's Marlon Byrd. He's 1 for 3. Takes down low. Clayton Richard. That ball into left field. Got it on the end of the bat. So 1 out. That'll bring up Nelson Cruz. Nelson has got the hat trick.
He does indeed. And Nelson is probably getting loosened up for the Murphy Davis part of this lineup.
He's been consistent tonight. Nelson has.
Every one of those sliders away, he's missed by a foot. Pretty much thinking to throw it to him until he finally gets some sort of contact. And I don't believe he's going to get any.
Nelson, don't feel bad, buddy. A lot of guys been where you're at, been there and done that. I'm one of them.
He's going for the golden sombrero. There it is.
He got it. Fifth strikeout for DJ.
No setup pitch, just the wipeout pitch, and here comes Ozzie. And you got to figure that he's going to Clayton Richard to face Murphy.
So a good job by DJ. 5 strikeouts. He'll depart, get a nice round of applause, and we'll be back.
Your pink bat today at team stores or MLB.com, and $10 off your purchase will go to Susan G. Komen for the cure. Clayton Richard comes in the game, and he misses with the first pitch. He inherits Murphy as a hitter with Jones at first base.
Murphy 2 for 3, scored 3 times tonight. Fouls that one back. Softly hit, backhanded. Got to hurry. He does. Nice play by Jason Nixon. That'll retire the side. 7th inning stretch. Not good. First pitch low and away to Carlos Quentin, leading off here in the bottom of the 7th. 6-10-0 for them. No runs, just 3 hits and 1 error for us. That is fouled back, and that's into the seats. Carlos has struck out, and he has gone out to center. He got the ball. The 1-1 just off the corner. Tomorrow night, 6:05 start. Make your plans to be with us here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. Johnny Danks, as there's a strike, against Kevin Millwood. Now, if you can't make it to the ballpark, that game over WGN. Then in the finale of this set and this homestand on Sunday, Bartolo Colon that's popped up high into left field. Murphy, 1 out. But Sunday is Bartolo against Vicente Padilla in that game right back here on Comcast Sportsnet. Then we go to Cleveland.
Then Toronto, and that's not going to be the easiest of road trips, but just have to hope that the Indians continue to play like they've been playing. Well, and that Toronto doesn't.
We're going to run Floyd, Burley, and Contreras, the scheduled starters, against the Indians. They're going to run Pavano, Sowers, and Lee against us. Sounded like another broken bat. Kinsler.
Sowers is taking over for Aaron Laffey, another left-hander. They're almost the identical type pitchers, and Laffey went to the bullpen, and Sowers now getting his chance to start.
So here's Jermaine. He's 1 for 2. Jermaine a single back in the 2nd inning in the hole between 3rd and short. Fouls it back.
Harrison has been strike 1 on most of the Sox hitters, and that's really been the key to his outing tonight. Just 3 singles, not in the same inning.
Well, he looks like a bigger version of Mark Burley out there tonight. Getting it and throwing the strikes, getting ahead in the count.
That's what he's doing, and he's working quickly, and strike 1 has been the norm for him.
Souvenir right side. Rangers trying to pick up their 16th victory against 13 losses. Just flip that one up there. Jermaine, upper tank.
That's one of those that you really can't do much of anything with. He cut that fastball inside, and that ball was foul when it left the bat.
He hit it in foul territory. And that one's going to be fair. Cruz now comes in, makes the catch. Quick, another. That's a 5th 1-2-3 inning for Matt Harrison. First pitch misses to Chris Davis, who is 1 for 3 tonight. A couple of strikeouts. And checking some of the down on the farm reports for you. Last night, Charlotte won 10-2 at Durham. Wes Whistler, big left-hander, was a 1 of 3 and 2 on the season. Adam Russell went 1 2/3, gave up no runs on 2 hits. There's that is foul back and a full count. Birmingham won 9-2 at Montgomery. Brandon Allen 3 for 4, a double, a home run, his 4th, 2 RBIs. Now has 15. He got off to a real slow start now. Started Brannigan. He's going to play in the big leagues. He gone.
Clayton heats him upstairs and throws it right by him. You have an uppercut swing, you're not going to catch up to that high fastball.
No. Diane Viciedo, 2 for 5. Now has 18 RBIs as that's taken outside. And Brian Almagrosso now 3-0 with 6 innings, giving up just 2 hits. As that is fouled back off the bat of Taylor Teagarden, who is 2 for 2, single, an RBI double.
Texas has a wealth of what most organizations would love to have, and that's catching.
Can't get that one. Well, I'll tell you what, we got some pretty good looking catching prospects in this organization now for the first time in a while.
It's tough to develop them, and if they can play both ends of the game, it's even more impressive.
We got Tyler Flowers down there in Birmingham hitting at 286, 4 homers, 15 RBIs, and this guy can hit it as far as anybody on the planet.
You can do that.
Gordon Beckham down there hitting at 303. And my pick to click down there, CJ Rutherford hitting at 311.
That was a good changeup by Clayton Richard.
That's a big pitch for Clayton. That's the 10th strikeout for our pitching tonight.
Well, if that's working, it makes his fastball, which is not normally overpowering, look that much better. So far, the 3 hitters he's faced have been mystified.
We're talking about those catchers. Big, strong left-handed hitter at Charlotte, Cole Armstrong, off to a real tough start for him. He's much better talent than the start he's off to. Josh Kroger got off to a miserable, awful start down there, and now starting to come on. Kroger hitting at 245, 5 homers and 15 knocked in.
Well, before it's over, he's going to be around 300 because he can hit.
Big hack by Kinsler. Ian is 1 for 2 tonight. He also has walked and scored, stolen a base, has a sacrifice fly, knocked in a pair. That fastball hit him on the fist, and that evens the count at 2. You have to get him a new $95 bat.
Well, they haven't broken too many tonight, so Kinsler has had a very good night. Yes, on the other side of the coin, that's getting in there. It's getting in the kitchen of Ian Kinsler.
So once again, the 2-2. He gone. He strikes out the side. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th, needing 6 to tie. is Rangers on the south side. Coverage starts with Felco White Sox pregame live. It's the Sox and Rangers Sunday at 12:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Matt Harrison for his first pitch strike, what new, over to Paul Konerko, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
Nobody even stirring in the bullpen, as Harrison has been in command from beginning until now.
Well, this will just be the 87th pitch, and the count 1-1. Checking also on another guy that I had mentioned to you earlier down at Kannapolis, because that's popped up. Kinsler now making the call. Drops the ball.
That ball drifted back toward the field of play. It looked like it was going to go foul. And that's got to be E4. He had it right in the middle of the glove. And that will be E4.
And that'll bring up AJ, who is 0 for 2. Twice he has gone out to second base. So just his third error of the season. But that 6'6" right-hander we have down at Kannapolis, his name is Dexter Carter. In 5 starts, he's 1-0 with a 1.98 ERA. As that pitch has popped up. Now Davis said he'll take that one.
Yeah, I saw your last effort. Let me grab that.
Kinsler said, "What are you doing?"
Because he's drifting all the way almost to second base to catch that. Ian just has a big smile on his face.
He said, "Be my guest."
I don't blame you.
So here is Jason Nix, who is lined out to left, and he has walked. He gets the benefit of the doubt on that pitch, did Matt Harrison. When you're throwing strikes like that.
Yeah, if you're throwing strike one consistently and you get close, most likely you get the call.
And that's what happened, is that pitch just misses.
It's the pitchers that are all over, up, down, in, out, and all of a sudden they put one up they think is on the corner, and they get very upset when the umpire doesn't call it.
Well, the rich get richer, and that's what was not so much as that ball hit deep in the left side. Stretch, get back there, right in front of Minnie Minoso. He makes the catch. He just missed it.
Last night, Jason had the first home run of his career, and this is a changeup, and he just missed the second one. David Murphy back to the wall, and he makes the catch, and Harrison breathes a sigh of relief that that one stayed in the park.
So here's Lillibridge, is lined out to right and called out on strikes. Takes strike one. But Contreras tonight, you know, he was all over the place once again. And getting back to what we were just talking about, Harrison, he gets the benefit of the doubt, where a guy who is having trouble with his control like Jose doesn't even come close to getting the benefit of the doubt.
You really can't expect it. I mean, pitchers want it, but they can't expect it when they're
2-0-3-1 on everybody.
And the catcher's also moving around like Jack in the Box.
That's chop foul. 0-2. Gap out there in left center. Come on, Brent, get yourself a base hit, buddy. Brent scuffling. He is now 8 for 50 on the season. And there is going to be a base hit right off the end of the bat. He'll take it any way he can get it. Now, another base hit, maybe, and then a couple of bloops and a blast.
Teagarden going out to talk with Harrison. That normally means, especially this late, that the bullpen might at least start to stir. So far, nobody up and throwing, but you'd expect that one might change as Harrison at the 95 pitch mark, although he's just 23 years old and he's a big, strong young guy.
Well, this is what Nolan wants these guys to do. Stretch it out a little bit. And that's the only way you're going to get them. You can't just ask them to go from where they've been mentally in that mental posture of going out there and going 5 or 6, working on pitch count and then come out. You can't ask them to go out there and go 9. It takes time. And I think what Larry Dierker, when he was managing the Astros, tried to do was
said the same, yeah, said the same thing.
Perfect. Steve, as we've talked about, it's hard enough to find 4 starters, and they just do get him at first base. Close play, and that'll do it. We'll go to the 9th. It is still 6-0.
An inning and a third, he fanned 3. So Broadway comes into this one on for the 4th time. ERA 5.40. He has had 5 innings of work.
And here's Omar Vizquel. He is 2 for 4 tonight, an RBI single, and our Dodge drive of the game, which we will show you in just a moment. That's fouled out of play, and here is our Dodge drive. Back in the 4th inning, a 3-1 fastball.
He got a couple of these, and this was the second 3-1 fastball he saw, and his second hit.
Little comebacker to Lance. 1 out. Now we're getting back to what we were talking about at the end of the inning. It's hard enough to find 4 starters, and everybody in baseball is looking for 5 because of the 5-man rotations. Now, I'm not going to say that Nolan's trying to take the Rangers back to a 4-man rotation. But I'll tell you, the name of the game today is the Battle of the Bullpens.
Well, that usually is the way it works out, and Hog, I have to believe that a back to the future approach by some general manager is going to take us to 4 starting pitchers again.
Broken bat, and that's going to fall for the base hit.
The reason I say that is you're right about one thing. It's tough to find 5 starting pitchers. And normally, the 5th starter in everyone's rotation, they did a 5-year study on this. He averaged just over 6.5 wins per year. That's number one. Number two, for the most part, that's a fairly expensive position if you have a veteran pitcher filling that role. So add one more guy to your bullpen, take one more guy out of your rotation, and if they're only going to go 5 1/3 or 5 2/3 with the rainouts and off days, it's not that bad a situation.
There's a strike to Andrew Jones, who's 1 for 3. Well, I've said now for a long time. In fact, in '86, when we were back here, we were going to go back to the 4-man rotation. But it takes time. You got to get them when they're coming, Steve, out of high school. You got to get them when they're coming out of college, because once they've been in pro ball for a few years, it's awful tough to ask them to change their mindset of going out there.
You're not going to change the staff you have in the major leagues right now.
No,
but
not at all.
If you start these guys doing it in the minor leagues with one more reliever, you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Some staffs are carrying 12 and 13 pitchers. 12 and 13.
And we've told this story many times, but you remember when some of the better teams, and I remember the Baltimore teams, would leave Florida with 9 pitchers. 5 starters, 4 relievers, because all 9 could get people out, and the starters went deep into each and every game. You had your one long man who served as a guy who could go long, pitch in the middle, or occasionally throw short. It worked pretty well then.
Well, you had 3 of them a couple times, won 20 games, and one year you had 4 of them won 20 games.
In 1971, Quare, McNally, Dobson, and Palmer all won 20 games for the 71 Orioles. That's pretty impressive.
I did against those guys. I'm very familiar with.
It wasn't a whole lot of fun.
As there is ball 4. So, Sox tonight with 11 strikeouts. In the 3rd walk, 2 of those walks issued by Contreras, both of them coming in the 1st inning. And here's Marlon Byrd, who's 1 for 4. AJ tonight, if you're just tuning in, they're going to have to check his left rotator cuff.
It hasn't been an easy night for him tonight.
Yeah. Josh now very quickly, and they can't turn it. But they get the 2nd out.
It was a nice slide at second base and a clean slide by Andrew Jones. Slow developing play. You're not going to get 2 on this one, and Jones goes in. Bird able to beat the throw at first.
So now Nelson Cruz. I don't know if it would have bothered him too much if they didn't go ahead and turn that one. That's low and away, too far out. Nelson's been to the plate 4 times, and he has 4 strikeouts.
Got the chance for the ignominious 5-bagger.
The platinum.
Wow, he's swinging at the invisible ball tonight. Because that wasn't a slider.
It happens.
I know.
It happens.
I did it my whole career.
I tell you.
They held me to 0 for 34 my first year.
That's in the dirt. Now he's 2-1. Johnny Blue Moon Odom struck me out 4 times one game, and I just every time, and I was swinging, and I step out of the box. How did I miss that pitch? Pops him up right side. Now JD comes in, takes control, and that'll retire the side. We will go to the bottom of the ninth. 6-0. Dennis hitting the road again. 3 in Cleveland and 5 days in Toronto with 4 games. There you see on Friday the 6 o'clock game on the 15th, and then the next 3 games, 16th, 17th, and 18th, are all day games. Our Felco upcoming schedule. So we're in the bottom of the ninth, and Matt Harrison trying to pitch a shutout. He has given up only 4 hits. Josh has 1 of them. He's 1 for 3.
This would be his first complete game of the year. And if he does record this, and of course we're hoping he runs out of gas, it'd be his second shutout.
Yeah, he had 1 last season. Well, he's left-handed. He's a big guy, 6'4", 225, and he's been throwing strike 1.
And his team got him some early runs. And don't think for a minute that that doesn't help. In fact, that's the first thing Mark Burley said about last night's game.
Well, I've got to check. I want to check with Lance Barksdale as he strikes out Josh, because there was a play back in the 2nd inning, a throw by Fields. It was high. Paul Konerko went up, came down just before David Murphy hit the bag, and Barksdale called him safe. Now, if Paul did not come down on the bag, then he was safe. And that's fouled back. So I'm going to check and find out. Now, if he came down on the bag, that was a bad call, as there's a comebacker by Quentin, and that's out number 2. And Todd Benjaminson, our producer, is going to get that play. Now here he goes up. If he comes down, if he foots on his bag, on that bag, then he is out. And that cost us 2 runs. Those 2 unearned runs, which turned out to be huge in this thing, in the psyche of the ball game.
Paul was going to throw the ball around the infield, so I think he, for one, thought he had come down on the bag.
Yeah, it's a lot of difference in the psyche of this game, especially with Contreras. If he was the way he was scuffling tonight with his control once again. Tomey has struck out, grounded to first, and grounded to second.
It's pitch number 109 for Harrison, who does have 1 lone walk.
And the count 2-1.
And he's still pumping it up there 93, so he hasn't lost 1 stitch of velocity.
Well, you touched on it earlier. You know, he's 23 years old and a big guy. Why not?
He is that. And sailing right along with a big lead and throwing strikes. You can't ask for much more.
Sounded like another broken bat. And this ball game is over. So far,